I tell you what, yeah? 3-0 away from home after an international break, yeah? On the early kickoff with a rotated side and you keep a clean sheet. Sounds ruddy brilliant, doesn't it? And it is, but it wasn't faultless. But oh my word, we're gonna take it.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yo, what's going on? Woo! As you can see, we're back to the old format for the match review. Is there a time delay with the audio? I hope not. Yeah, man, so not live recordings for match reviews with the OBS, the Stream Deck, the old mic. Two different setups, two different styles of format for the channel. But we've got so much to talk about in today's game, guys. There is so much to talk about. A debut goal for Joshua Champong, an amazing captain's performance, a goal and an assist, playing in loads of different positions for Reece James. Pedro Neto, goal and an assist, by far the best attacker on the pitch on the day. But then again, do you just need to throw a Mark Gue in there, a striker, to change the fortunes? I did call Lavia starting, and he did, but I didn't call necessarily a Gusto Lavia double pivot with Andre Santos playing in the number 10. It is absolutely chicken oriental, this game, mate. It was. Ange coming into it under immense pressure from the Nottingham Forest fans. He's the first Forest manager in their history since 1860 to lose his first 8 games, or to not win his first 8 games in charge. But it was huge for us. It was absolutely massive. We've, of course, missing like certain players, Levi Cole Palmer, others, Enzo Fernandez, who's got swelling of the knee. You know, Benoit Badia's shield was out. Of course, we needed to rotate a little bit here, and we'll speak about the lineup, we'll speak about the halftime changes, and indeed, we got to talk about the changes in the second half, because of course, Maresca had a touchline ban, so he got a note passed around, and everyone saw this note, and it really helped. So, good touchline management from a coach who wasn't even on the touchline. Superb scenes. Guys, welcome back. Thank you as always for supporting the content. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Of course, we're over 199,000 subs. So we are, the 200k dream is very real, and you can be a part of that. Let's get into it. Yeah, of course, the old transition for this format of video. Right, let's have a look, shall we? Well, this is wild, isn't it? It was a back 5 formation for Ange Postecoglou's Nottingham Forest. And I must say, it worked for the first half. We did play well. Let's have a look at the attacking momentum here on SofaScore on the left-hand side of the screen. There was a period in the middle of the first half where Forest were on top. But generally, I'd say their plan worked. Pressing man-to-man. We lived a charmed life. In that first half, we kept giving them the ball. Misplaced passes all over the ruddy gaff, yeah? We were giving them the ball all the time, and their plan was working. Yeah? And we were getting lucky. So this is important. There's so much important caveats when you talk about the full context of this game, because they had a game plan. It was working, the pressing man-to-man. We were supposed to be pressing Matt Sells, but they were pressing Sanchez. They kept having chances. We kept granting them chances. It was Charity FC back in full effect. By the time half-time came around, I was just absolutely thrilled. It was 0-0. They should have been ahead. And we punished them. We also give the old 1-2 a slap early doors in the second half, as you can see there. That's really what changed the game for us. But this is how we set up. And look, you've got to use your squad, especially after international breaks. Especially, I think I heard a stat like Moises Caicedo has started the previous 66 Premier League games or something. Is it 66? It was something like that. It was in the 60s. Absolutely mental. So yeah, you've got to use your squad, man. You've got to rotate. Loads of people are talking about the quality of Lavia. He's a very different player to Caicedo, but he's an immensely talented footballer. And everyone loves Andre Santos. I think the weirdest thing in here is Gusto playing as a conventional double pivot player. Yeah, so he's kind of in the right of the double pivot, and then you've obviously got Lavia, which is the left of the double pivot, kind of a bit more central doing the Caicedo, and then Santos number 10. I mean, he had a great chance to score, didn't he? He got hooked at halftime. He was one of the 3 that got hooked at halftime. He had a great chance to score. Backline, all very strong, I must say, despite, us living a charmed life at times. Sanchez in goal, I think, was totally fine, if not good at points. I know he did a couple of misplaced passes early doors, but Kukurea, Chalobah, Joshua Champong, 3 of the back 4 Cobham boys, which is lovely stuff. You love to see it. And, of course, Captain Reece James. Let's have a look at his heat map. Playing all over the gaff, really. Playing as a right back, playing as a right central defensive midfield, going in forwards loads, of course, scoring his goal, right up in the final third, late doors. So lots of tactical innovation. We saw lots of movement here. Let's look at the statistics from both halves, of course, because that will give us the biggest idea. In the first half, they were the better team. As you can see here, they had a 0.53 XG to our 0.36. We only had 3% more possession than them, a big chance apiece. We had more shots, but I would argue they should have been ahead, even if it was just from us, granting them chances. Like I said, the misplaced passes. And look, Maresca was sitting in the stands next to the sporting directors. It was Willy Caballero on the touchline, and he must have been thinking, S word. Do you know what I mean? This ain't working. I'm going to praise the manager here. I'll get it in early because you do use your squad for a bunch of reasons, especially after an international break, and you give them a chance. And he gave them a chance, and he's like, right, you've had your chance, I'm going to switch this. The halftime changes helped, and indeed the tactical switches towards this in the middle of the second half helped and put us back on top, and it was ultimately a really good. But look, it was a heavily flawed 3-0 away win. Let's be fair. It was heavily flawed. We didn't completely dominate them. Let's look at the stats. So they were the better team in the first half. We made the changes, of course, and in the second half, even then, look at that, 1.59 XG, 3 big chances apiece. We did have more shots than them, and we did in the first half. So let's look at this. So let's look at it all then. So they had pretty much the exact same of possession. We had 4 big chances apiece. Yeah, they had more expected goals. We did have a lot more shots, and then they had 1 more goalkeeper save, which tells you and look at the same amount of passes. Tells you everything you need to know. And look, let's while I've got it in my brain, we did ride we rode Lady Luck. That sounds like an inappropriate thing to say. Yeah. Okay, we may have made sweet love to Lady Luck. We've introduced ourselves and made firm acquaintance with Lady Luck. It's fully consensual. She's interested. Boy, was she interested in this game. I tell you what, Lady Luck was gagging for it in this game. Look, I'm taking this to the trenches. I'm sorry. But yeah, not only were we presenting them loads of misplaced passes early doors, have a crack here, take a shot there. In the second chance, Nico Williams had an absolute sitter of a chance. Yeah, where he needs to be putting that in the goal where he's free as a friggin' bird near the back post. I mean, how does that happen, by the way? And then, of course, is it Igor Jesus? What's his name? With so many Brazilians involved in this. So let's just quickly look at the substitutes here as well. Yeah, Igor Jesus, 5.9 rating. So did Mark Gue, which I think is a bit harsh, actually. And I'm going to talk about the importance of Mark Gue. Igor Jesus, hitting the crossbar, basically touching the goal line. We very much, there was a lot of chances. There was a lot of chances where they should have scored, basically. This probably wasn't a 3-0 win game. I think I'm not going to be radical in saying that, but it's a huge win for Chelsea. You have to ride out these moments. You have to capitalise on the narrative of the opposition team's manager being under huge pressure. Yeah, you have to have big moments, and we had big moments. Look, let's moonwalk you through what is a lovely time. Morato, foul, first half. By the way, so we'll speak about the red card, of course. He should have had a ruddy red card, this geezer. Morato, he got that, and then you got a couple more fouls after to boot. Look, it didn't work. We saw 3 halftime changes. Awoniyi comes off for Forest. By the way, he looked pretty good, I thought, in terms of alleviating being a pressure release valve on the break. Gu comes on for Santos. We basically changed to the left wing, the striker, and the midfielder. Caicedo coming on for Lavia is pretty much a straight swap in terms of role. Gittins similarly, yeah. But then Santos comes off for Mark Gu, and I think this is the one. Yeah, this is obviously Caicedo's the one because he's like the superstar best CDM midfielder in the world. He's going to like control the game. Now, Lavia is a great footballer, but he's a great footballer that you add in to a team like, like Cole Palmer said, he's the most underrated footballer in the world. It's his mate. I know why he's saying that. But Lavia is a really uniquely technical footballer. He's technically a CDM, but he supercharges the team as a catalyst. You don't plug him in and say, do the Moises Caicedo role. That's essentially why we bought Dario Asugo, who's a different footballer to Lavia. You brought him in for that. He's not available. So Lavia couldn't do it in this game, whatever. He's still a great footballer. Garnacho, well, we're sort of talking about player performances here. I think he started very well. He got an overhead kick on target, which shows you the cojones and the confidence of this kid. The confidence that waned throughout the game. And I did feel bad for Garnacho because there was a lot of runs he made that weren't found. And I was like, yeah, I'd be annoyed, if I was him. So I don't think he did a lot wrong. Gittins, of course, had a good time for England's under-21s. He comes on. But for me, the real change that we've been saying, that I've been saying, and probably you have too, we need a proper centre-forward. I know Joao Pedro says he's a centre-forward, but look at his performances for Chelsea when he gets to operate a little bit deeper. Look at the touches he takes. Look how many shots he pulls off. Even if Mark Huey got a 5.9 rating here on SofaScore, like if you could say to Joao Pedro, I know I tried to compare on my Instagram, but obviously Joao Pedro is such a different style and profile of player than Eden Hazard. But they're both the kind of players that say, remember how Hazard loved playing with Olivier Giroud? He's the best target man in the world. Put him in the team. Let me dance around him. Similarly, I think Joao Pedro, if you stuck in a 29-year-old Olivier Giroud, he'd go, thank you very much. But we don't have that. We don't even have Liam Delap. We have Gu. And Gu just threw his weight around, was an absolute menace, and it's a game changer. And I don't want to do him as a disservice because he's a good footballer. He comes from La Masia, Barcelona. He's obviously going to be technical, but he is a throwback. He's a big centre forward. It changes the game. Even if he's just all elbows and barging and just standing, I'm a big man standing between your centre-backs. It's different, yeah? Suddenly, Joao Pedro can breathe, he can look, he can do these flicks and touches and layoffs and pop-off shots because the defensive line is different because he's not the first line of offence against the last line of defence. Everything changes. The passing lanes, the space afforded to you to take a touch or link up or, take shots. Look at Joao Pedro. He takes shots when he's not playing as a striker, basically, or a lone striker. So I think, right thing to do. Bring him on at half time, and he's involved. Even though he got, he's been done dirty a little bit here, Gu, by SofaScore. He came on and was part of the transformation that saw Chelsea's 0-0 turn into a 3-0 away win. Now, Pedro Neto was the boy in this game. I said, and I'm really pleased again to pat myself on the back here. On Instagram, I was saying, right, that first half was harrowing, but we had 2 really good performers. And those of you who watch my Instagram stories and halftime lives can attest to this. I said the 2 excellent performers were Joshua Champong and Pedro Neto. Bang, bang. So who links up for that first goal? Pedro Neto puts in a beautiful cross from his non-native left-wing position. Joshua Champong scores his first senior goal, and his first goal for Chelsea is a wonderful moment in front of the Chelsea fans. Captain Reece James saying, Pedro Neto, you're having a good game, mate. Have your own goal. It was a free kick. He does a sort of loose layoff, and Pedro Neto, it's like a snooker shot, seeing a gap through the balls, and just go, or shall I say pool or snooker? He saw a gap and he sniped it through Pedro Neto, and it's a beautiful goal. And it's the 1-2 punch, 2 goals within 3 minutes, early doors in the second half. That's what changed the game. It was the substitutions, but then again, it's not the end, right? Because it's not the whole story, because we've rode our luck massively in the first half and indeed in moments in the second half. But it's really important, the 3 changes from the management. And then there's a period in the second half where they really come back into the game, Nottingham Forest. And we see players like Statistical come on, Tosin comes on later. But there's a little note that's passed around that moves the players around, that pushes Reece James up a lot more. I think it pushes Cucurella into midfield. So from the high position, Maresca sees what's going on. And he's like, right, we're 2-0 up, but something's changing here. We need to make sure, we need to do some tactical and positional innovation, of which he delivers. Deserves his flowers here. Just as I'm gonna highlight the weaknesses and flaws and luckiness of this game, we need to highlight this as well. And of course, it plays dividends. We get the goal that seals the game in the 84th minute. The ball falling to Reece James sort of outside the box. But he did the turnover himself. He kept the ball in that position. He's my man. I think he was man of the match on TNT, actually. I know they've given it on SofaScore here to Pedro Neto. It's between them two. But Reece, he's looking more and more like a captain all the time. Keeping his cool, performing in every single position on the pitch. Goal and assist. That beautiful boy. He's proper Chelsea and he scores a wonderful goal. And ultimately, that seals the deal. But of course, it wouldn't be a Chelsea game without needless cards. The Esteval yellow's silly sausage business as well, mate. I'm really not happy with that. Who's got... And then Rob Sanchez for time wasting, whatever. But it's Malo Gusto. He gets a second yellow. It is a second yellow. What, did he forget? The ref forgot he had a freaking... early yellow, didn't he, which he's got in the 54th minute. It wasn't even in the first half. 54th minute. It's poor from Gusto. I don't know how to feel about him, because he is a good fullback at times. He can defend one-on-one good. He can get assists as well. But they were saying, Lucy Ward on TNT commentary was saying he's done well in the midfield. I don't think he did. And it's not his fault. He's playing... It's that failed experiment of him inverting into the right pocket, as in like the right number 10 in the hole. That's up the pitch. But this was like in a double pivot. It's like 2 central defensive midfielders. You got Lavia and Gusto. That is like, uh-oh. that ain't what you want. Even against the dysfunctional Nottingham Forest team. So that was proper scary stuff as well. But needless second. Look, out of all the players... we'll get fined from the FA for like just constantly getting players sent off. They will talk about disciplinary stuff. You've had this many red cards. We've had like 5 this season, or is it 4 of players, 5 of Maresca, or 5 of players? I don't even know. I've lost count. It's the 18th of October, and I've lost count how many red cards we've got. It's very poor. It's so needless. 3-0 up from Gusto doing that. Fortunately, we can live without him, like, for a game. It's Malo Gusto. Do you know what I mean? What do? You play Reece James as a right back, and you start Caicedo next to one of the other central midfielders. Like, you can live with it. I'm just going to quickly check our next Premier League fixture. We've got Sunderland at home. There you go. So Malo Gusto's going to miss Sunderland at home. It's not the end of the world. It's Sunderland at home. And with the greatest of respect, it's Malo Gusto. Okay. Massive, though. Currently 4th place. Ooh! I know we've played first, but, 1 point. No. 3 points. I saw Liverpool. 1 point of Liverpool. 3 points off the top of the Prem. We're not in a title race, and I'll tell you why. Because we got super lucky in this game, and we got another red card. But we are navigating important wins, getting the 3 points, etc. Woo! Lots to talk about. Let me know your thoughts. Of course, I'll go back to the Chelsea news format tomorrow. We alternate here. There's lots of different content for you, so do consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and thank you for liking the video and dropping them hype points down here. Up the Chelsea! Everything's fine. I promise.